Welcome to the Calm Waves podcast. I'm Dallas Cowan, and I'm joined by CJ Watson. Thank you so much for joining here today on the Calm Waves podcast. So you played 600 games in the NBA. Did you pick that number? Was that something that you were like, hey, I'm good?
I did not. I didn't know. I didn't even know it was 600.
So 600 games in the NBA. You're the author of a kid's book. So we'll go on that in a little bit later. You have the Quiet Storm Foundation, which I'm going to go into naming a little bit because you have some names that you do for your email address and for everything like that I love what you're in. You're an angel investor, or you're an investor, you're into business. And then you're also a dad. You've got a daughter who plays volleyball. So those are just some of the things that I was like, okay, these are kind of cool, highlight types of things. What would you say out of all of those things? I know being a dad is, very, very important. But out of all of those things, what's something that how do these build off of each other? How are these things of being an NBA player to writing a kid's book? What's kind of the, a little bit of the story about those types of things?
This thing all goes back to my upbringing, and obviously, this podcast is about mindset and that kind of stuff. It's the things that my parents taught me just from when I was little. But they all correlate, being a dad, being an NBA player, being an entrepreneur. I think you have to have all the same, attributes: being dedicated, being driven. As a parent, you have to be patient, which I'm not very patient, but definitely. I'm still learning a lot how to be a parent, every day to a teenager and still toddlers and stuff like that. So I think they all correlate in some way, and they all kind of coexist together. And just to do one, I'm sure, as any parent can say, it's tough to be a parent, but it's tough to be a parent and, have a job and a career and try to balance all these things. So it's they're all fun in a different perspective. But I think just being, like I said, just being a dad is the most gratifying one.
It's amazing. So go back to parents. You talked about parents. What are some things that you remember now today that your parents instilled in you?
I would say just the hard work, the dedication, drive to want to be the best, even if you weren't, you don't achieve to be the best. They always instilled in me and my brother to always work hard, to dream big. That's why one of my books is called CJ's Big Dream, because they always instilled us to dream big and to work hard for your dreams, no matter, what your situation is, what your outcome is. You can still, achieve great things no matter, like I said, where you live, your circumstances, financial circumstances, stuff like that. So they always instilled in us to do those things. And if you do those things, success will come. So I think that's why I've been kind of so successful.
So one thing I looked at when I was going through kind of your NBA career, and again, basketball's kind of the most foreign sport to me.
Yeah.
I played baseball. I kind of know football. But in the way of getting to the NBA, you kind of had to go through some obstacles or hurdles. It wasn't like you were a first round draft choice. It wasn't like you came out as a freshman. So tell me a little bit about that journey of you actually going from Las Vegas, to, oh my goodness, I'm stepping foot on an NBA court for the first time in a uniform.
I think it just also, like I said, everything goes back to my upbringing. Like when I was even younger, I wasn't the most talented kid, but I wouldn't let anyone outwork me, even like in summers and even in school. Like, I had a 6-period PE class. I was working out in PE class with my coach because I was grateful enough to have my coach be my PE teacher. So I think it just goes back to that. And then, like you said, to the journey to the NBA. I didn't get drafted. I had to go overseas. I had to go a different route. It put things in perspective. I thought I was good enough to be drafted. I was good enough to be in the NBA, but I had to go a different route, and it kind of made me work that much harder. It made me appreciate the game that much more, appreciate the journey. So I think that all that kind of plays into perspective of how I got to the NBA and then why I lasted so long.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's amazing. So going back to kind of mindset, did you ever have a time where you doubted? When you're am I ever going to get there type of a thing?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, a lot of people don't know this, but I was going to quit basketball when I was overseas. I was in Italy at the time. I think it was around my birthday in April. My parents came to visit me. I got traded from Italy to Greece, because in Italy I had a coach every month, a new coach. So one month I had a coach in September. the coach would get fired. So the next month I have a coach. So I had 4 or 5 coaches in the first year. And I was like, this can't be professional life. So I asked for a trade. They traded me to Greece. And then the team in Greece wasn't that great. The players went on strike 3 or 4 times because they weren't getting paid. So I was just like, no, this isn't my life. I deserve to be in the ABA. I know I'm good enough. I work hard enough. And I wanted to quit. And I was like, if it doesn't work out, I'm just going to go back to America, play in the G League. If it doesn't work, I'm just going to get a regular job and just kind of figure things out. And my parents were like, no, you work too hard for this. We know the dreams and goals that you set for yourself, and we have goals and dreams for you also. So we want to help you achieve that. But yeah, I was close to jumping off the bridge and just giving up on basketball.
Do you feel like going back, I talked to, my daughter, I talked to other kids about this. Do you feel like, having parents that were around you supporting you is what helped get you through that time? Like having good people around you?
Oh yeah, for sure. I think it goes back to, family support. Your support system is, I always tell kids all the time, is your biggest thing that can either help you or hurt you. So I think that having my parents, my aunts and uncles who always call and give me advice, send me text messages, people who I didn't even know, even thought about me. They were, sending daily prayers and stuff like that for me. So I just think, all those people just giving me encouragement and confidence, even when I was probably unconfident myself. I think that kind of made the world of difference.
Wow. That's great. I think they're picking the people around you is so important.
Yeah.
Because your trajectory could go so much, be different. I
Yeah.
mean, you would have been probably very, very successful in a different world, but you would have just been, not in the NBA, not 600
Right.
games of everything like that. So I think that's so, so important. So we met at the PAC event. So pro athlete community, there was a lot of younger guys. I'm just going to be straight up with it.
It was weird for me because I'm usually the youngest guy.
Yeah. So not saying you're old. I'm not saying you're
I am
old.
old. It's all right. It's okay. I'm old.
You're not older. Just because you're older, you get a lot of young guys in the room. But you were there and you were like, hey, I want to learn. I want to learn how to do that. Where do you think that came from? Do you think that's a natural curiosity, or is it something that maybe like your parents talked about, or is it from like somewhere else?
Yeah, I think it's also, like I said, back to my upbringing, just always wanted to learn. My mom, when I was younger, she had me go to work with her. She worked in Parks and Recreation. So I would always go to seminars with her, retreats. So I was always learning even at a young age. So now, like, I always want to continue to learn. I feel like if I'm not learning, I'm dying. So I want to continue to learn. I want to continue to get better. Even if I know something about one particular market, I want to continue to even learn more, or if I can learn something different about it or see it from a different perspective. Like I said, this only can help me. And like I said, I could also pass that knowledge down to someone else or give it to someone else. So I always want to continue to learn and get better and find multiple ways to better myself.
The NBA, did that help you? Because for me, again, I don't know the NBA as much, but did you study your opponents? Did you go was that a way for you to try to get a competitive advantage?
Yeah, because like I said, I wasn't always the most talented, so I had to find a way to be better than the next guy that I was competing against. So I had to figure out what move he liked to do better, which way he liked to go, left or right, if he liked to pull up or drive to the basket all the time. So I was always watching game film with my coaches, always in the film room with the not the general managers, but the trading guys, the fundamental guys. So I was always learning and trying to get better. And if I can steal a move from somebody, I would always do that. So I think basketball and even in life, we're all just recreating the wheel. There's no one's really thinking of great ideas. It's just always something that someone else always came up with, but kind of just putting your own spin on it. So if I can do that and help myself be more competitive and get a natural edge over someone, I think I'm going to try to do that every time.
Did you apply that now or how do you apply that now in business? How do you take that same mentality now?
Just trying to get with people who already did it before, people who, want to be vulnerable and talk about their successes and also about their failures also. Just being around smarter people. I think, if I'm the smartest person in the room, I'm in the wrong room. It's kind of a cliche. You hear that all the time, but I think it's so true because I'm always, like I said, I'm always trying to learn from the next person, especially it's about, VC or private equity, stuff like that I don't know much about because as an athlete, you're, consumed with your sport for, 10, 15, 20 years. We were we weren't taught business. So I have to go back and relearn business. And even though I've already been doing it, not unknowingly for 10 or 15 years, but it's just a different landscape when people have gone to school for this stuff. And I really didn't go to school for that. So I got to learn it from a different perspective.
Hmm. That's amazing. I love it. I mean, I think curiosity is it's a superpower. I mean,
Yeah.
some people have it and some people don't.
Yeah.
But I think it goes back to also kind of like, I love the name of your foundation, Quiet Storm. Can you tell me where that came from?
I don't know if this is a good story or not, but I mean, it's a good story, but, so the Quiet Storm came from me and my brother were 16, and every summer my parents would send us to Tennessee because my family is from Tennessee and Nashville. So we would go there and stay with my uncles and cousins. So this summer we were with my sister and her husband. And, this is like the era of tattoos or whatever. And one of my teammates in high school had just gotten a tattoo and we thought it was fake. We went to his arm, and rubbed his arm and it didn't come off. So, oh, yeah, it's real. Okay. It's the real thing. And so me and my brother went to get a tattoo by this guy. It was in a hotel room, like a Motel 6. I would not recommend it. He was like a junkie, a crackhead, but it was cheap because we didn't have any money. My sister was paying for it. So we're like, all right, if you pay for it, we'll get it. So we got an N1 basketball guy and I needed like some wording to go over the basketball guy. And my sister was like, you're quiet and shy, reserved, but your game hits people like a storm. So put Quiet Storm on there. So that's kind of how it happened. And it's been stuck with me ever since. Obviously, it does go with me because I'm quiet, shy, reserved type person. And that's what we named the foundation after. So that's kind of how the name came about.
I love that. That is a fantastic, and I feel like it's such a, there's a lot of phrases that reminds me of, a quiet storm is, speak softly, but carry a big stick from Theodore Roosevelt. And there's a lot of those kind of mentalities of, you're humble, but
Yeah.
you carry stuff.
Yeah.
You don't want to be that guy who's big and loud and has
Right.
nothing behind it. So I think it's such a cool phrase of just like
Yeah.
quiet storm. So even though it was, your sister was saying it on the spot, I think it's
Right.
a fantastic name.
Yeah.
How does that play out for, as you observe, I mean, NBA is known for trash talking.
Yeah.
Like it's known for like, I'm better than you. I'm bigger than you.
Yeah.
I mean, Michael Jordan was the guy,
Yeah.
that's what the highlight reels always show. Even today, everyone's the trash talker. How did that play out in your game? If you're quiet, like, did people ignore you or did they like, what was your mentality actually like playing?
So it was a little bit the same. My mentality was, and how I grew up was like, so I grew up around all trash talkers. My parents, my aunts and uncles, like, I have a family full of trash talkers. And like I said, I was just raised, my family's from the South. So it's like, you speak when you're spoken to, you say, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, yes, sir, no, sir. So, my whole thing was just prove it on the court. So I'm just a person that leads by example. So I wanted to, let my work do the talking for me. But, here and there, I would talk a little trash if it got to that, just because I didn't want to keep hearing it all the time. So, but I do love trash talk. I think it's a great skill. It's definitely a skill to have if you can do both, play the game and trash talk. A lot of people can't do both. They can only do one or the other. So I think it's a good thing for me because I don't really talk a lot. So I can do a little bit of trash talking and then more playing. But if it need to get louder, I can get louder if I wanted to.
So it's interesting that you just brought up trash talking as a skill.
Yeah, it's a skill. Yeah.
I've never thought of that. I thought it was just like people just kind of like saying stuff.
No, it's a
But
skill because there's certain lines you can't cross either. You can't talk about people's parents or
yep,
kids and stuff
yep.
like that, obviously. But some people do take it too far sometimes. But I definitely think it's a skill. Like I said, it's all mental. Going back to mindset again, because if
Yeah,
you're mentally talking or verbally talking about something, then it means you're mentally not in the game. So to
yeah.
be able to do both, like I said, is definitely a high skill. And there's only so many players that can do it at a high level.
And also, I think it's always the thing of like, if you're using it as a competitive advantage, you're doing it to get into somebody
Yeah.
else's head.
Right. Yeah.
Like, oh, hey, you need to like, hey, have you worked on your backhand anywhere? And they're like, oh, I'm not thinking about my backhand. And now, oh no, you crumble.
Yeah.
So, I think it's just super interesting that you just said it's a skill set because I'm not that, but at the same time, I wish I was a little bit more. When I talk about like my baseball career, I played, little baseball. I played in college, but I was always a very nice person
Yeah.
and I was a humble person, but I never carried that onto the field. So looking back on life, I wish I was a little bit more trash talking,
Mhm.
or at least a little bit more like confident in that way. But like, no, I can play. I can
Right.
do this.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think it's super interesting that you bring it up as a skill. So how did you do, I love Quiet Storm because I think that that's just like unbelievable. There's another coach here in town, Coach Zinger. He's a pitching coach, and he says you have to have two different mentalities. You have to kind of switch it on, where you could be kind, in the dugout, but when you get on the mound, you turn on this other person. So did you have, going back to mindset, did you have this like switch that you were able to do of like, we're playing, let's go?
Yeah, I think so. Definitely, in the crunch moments, so when you need it the most, that second persona comes on, whether it be, like I said, the quiet storm persona or just that clutch gene. So I definitely think in those times, especially if you make a big bucket, you're always saying like, hey, this is the quiet storm in me, or this is the clutch gene in me. So I definitely think that mindset comes to play in those big moments.
So how are you able to take that and teach that to your daughter as well? Or what are the things you've learned from the NBA that you're able to teach to your daughter today?
So probably one of the best things, like you said, going back to trash talk, I teach her to trash talk. That's probably like the funniest thing because she's over of age now. Like I
Yeah.
told her, I started telling her about it when she was 13, but she was still like shy and, still coming into her own. But now that she gets it, she does it a lot. She doesn't do it a lot because it's not really that common in volleyball, but let one play happen or a big play happen. She's doing her trash talking in a way that, it's in a positive way, but she's doing it more. But I just try to teach her about that mindset, that work ethic. I always tell her, if you're sleeping in at 9 o'clock, we're on Western, we're on Pacific time. So I always use the model like, or on East Coast time, they're already 3 hours ahead of you. What are you going to do now to catch up to be, up to them or even better than them? So you always got to put that work ethic in there, always instill in her to try to keep working, and no matter what ranking you have already, you're a bullseye now because everyone is on your target or you're a target for everyone. So just try to keep her, like I said, humble and always working.
That's great. What's for anyone out there? I play pickleball. So pickleball is
Yeah,
and are you part owner of a pickleball team, aren't you?
yeah. The Texas Ranchers in
Yeah.
Austin.
Yeah, Texas Rancher. So you're a, owner of this. So if you were to tell your pickleball players advice about trash talking, what would be your to develop the skill? Because it's one
Yeah,
of those
yeah,
things. It's like you're not going to go to
yeah.
your kid and be like, yes, I did this. Yeah, like yeah. How do you practice that mentality, or that what advice would you give?
I think it's just about studying your opponent. You got to know what makes him mad, make what gets him triggered. So those little things can kind of, like I said, doing your homework is also a big thing in trash talking. But like I said, just knowing the things that can get in their head when you make a big play or they think they made a big play and then you come back and make another big play, that can be devastating, especially maybe when it's game point or the game is on the line, you make a big play that can be detrimental to a set and that can ruin them for the next whole set or next rest of the game. So it's all mental that can be lingering to them. So I think that's a big thing too.
So when you trash talk, do you do like, I mean, studying your opponent? I mean, I think I don't trash talk, but it's a way of like, okay, where's the strength of the
Yeah,
opponent,
right.
and just kind of like feeling it out
Hmm.
of where it's like, hey, I'm going to try this, and if it doesn't work, or if they can respond to that, you're like, okay, that's good, okay, but
Yeah.
then if you find it, if you're like, there it is,
Yeah, you stick
you know,
with it. Yeah, you gotta,
you
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 gotta, you gotta keep pounding on it
you just stick with it, and then they just
so they
like they
break.
crumble.
Yeah,
Yeah, I've done that before in pickleball of like being able to be like, oh, I found it. It maybe took a couple points
right.
where I'm not, I did something. They did that. I'm
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
okay, I'm not going
right,
back there.
right.
But can they do this now?
Yeah,
Or
yeah.
or can they do this now?
You just got to make them, like I said, thinking. I think sports is a great indicator of how fast you can use your brain to really think fast. I always tell my daughter that when this is like even for like dating and stuff like that, when a guy says something to a girl, she has to have a quick response, or the guy, he's winning in
Yeah,
the mental aspect
yeah,
of the
yeah.
thing. So I always tell her you got to have quick responses. So I think it's the same thing in sports, and the way you react in a quick way can really determine the outcome of the game.
That's That's great. So yeah, here's a question. I had a couple questions that I had just kind of like as going through it, because I think you've admitted yourself you're old. So you've got wisdom, you got the gray wisdom coming out. Um, so if you could go back and tell yourself in high school, college, or in the NBA, one thing, what would it be?
One thing, I would just say, you never know what the future holds, but just keep working hard, be diligent, and the rest will play out how it will.
Mm, love that. I think I mean, I just think about myself in certain moments of being like, how am I ever going to get out of this? And then seeing what the future had for me, just because of just like keeping my head down
Right.
and keep going. And I just can't imagine with you, as you said, like having good people around you that were able to encourage you in those moments to go, I just got traded Greece. I know I'm good enough to play. I just got to keep playing this out. Yeah. So that's, and answer that question. What keeps you going? What would you say and let's just talk about mindset for an athlete. There's a lot of the guys that I talk to are younger athletes, or they're, coming up athletes. You talk about hard work, you talk about, keep the future going, but is there anything else from a athlete standpoint that you would say, hey, do this? Like I've learned from greats that I played with, this was a common denominator, or anything like that. What would you say to an athlete?
For an athlete, I would say always have a plan B. I think that's kind of, like I said, cliche also, but like I said, nothing is ever promised. Injuries always happen. So you always got to have the mindset of what can I fall back on. And obviously for me, that's been my education. My parents always preach that, but also like recovery. If you want to play a long time to be an athlete, you got to recover the right ways and make sure you're healthy. Because like I said, if you have injuries, then there's no more athlete.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's all gone. So just the way you recover and really prioritizing your recovery, and make sure you sacrifice. You got to sacrifice, not going out, sacrifice maybe even a girlfriend, a husband, wife, whatever the case may be. Everything takes sacrifice if you want to be successful in life.
When you talk about recovery, what did you do? What was your big thing? Because I know people talk about strength and weight room stuff, and recovery's not that. So
Right.
what were the things that you did to help recover both your body and your mind?
I did yoga a lot. So every off day I would do yoga. So that's the strength and the mind also, helping with my breathing. I would get weekly massages. So that was big also, just for help my body recover. And then also just like ice baths, cryotherapy. That was big for me. I love the cryotherapy because I only go there for 3 minutes instead of ice bath where I'm in there for 10, 15 minutes.
Yeah.
So if I can get something a short period of time, it was definitely pretty cold, but still for 3 minutes, I can do it.
I hate cold. Cold
Yeah,
plunges,
yeah.
I do
Yeah,
those. I love the sauna, like let's
yeah.
go.
Right.
But cold plunges, oh my gosh, that's just
Yeah, it's
another.
tough.
Do you cold plunge still?
I still do it. Yeah. So we have one in our house, but I do it for like 10 minutes. I can't anything below like 40 degrees. I can't do it. So that's the lowest I can go.
My dad does cold plunge. My mom does cold plunge. They're like, come on in. And
Yeah, yeah,
ever since I was a kid, I hated coldness. I hated being cold. So now I'm in Arizona, which it's great because it's not
right.
cold very much.
Yeah,
So
right.
it's a good state for me, but I do not enjoy the cold. But I know it's good for you. I know it's like that mental side of getting into your sympathetic nervous system, and just working on that part of your brain, so that when you do have stresses, you're not freaking out.
Yeah, this helps with that mental toughness. If you can do that for 10 minutes, you can do pretty much anything in life, because that's pretty tough.
That's tough, and it just helps work that out. I mean, there's a lot of body stuff that helps with it. So this is a phrase that I love. This is something that I kind of apply to my own life. Is you're the same person you are 5 years from now, except for the people you meet and the books you read.
Mm-hmm.
So based off of that, in the last like 5 years, what are some books you've read or people that you've met that have helped change the trajectory of your life?
I would say meeting one of my mentors, Rashawn Williams. He's introduced me to a different side of things, business side, and he's given me a lot of books to read. So I've read a lot more books now than I did five years ago. Just like I said, on venture capital, private equity. I like to read a lot of inspirational books. I think that's a big thing for me because I grew up on religion in the church. So just having that mental side to be able to help when my faith is tested, or when it's weak, or when I'm not feeling confident, stuff like that. So I definitely feel like reading books has helped me a lot. And I think one of my favorite books I've read so far is Why Should All the White Guys Have Fun? It's about a black guy who started a billion dollar business. So it goes through all his successes and failures, and he eventually died of a heart attack at a young age. So, but it's a pretty cool book.
Wow. What'd you learn the most out of, like, what stuck out for you the most?
Just the way he approached a business. Everyone said he couldn't do it. He couldn't raise all this money. He couldn't go start this great business. And he goes and does it. He has private jets. Him and his wife are going on vacations and trips, and he's having people try to steal from business, and then he's suing them, and he's doing all these things that, that happens in business. And it's just like a great tale of just sticking with it and believing in yourself.
Love it. I had a conversation with a guy the other day. He's getting he wants to be a neurosurgeon, not neurosurgeon, trauma surgeon. That's what he wants to do. And we were talking about success, the word success, because I think in everybody's mind, it's something different. And so I would love to hear a little bit, what does success look like for you? I mean, you're a very driven person. You did the NBA, 600 games, let's go. Like, was that success for you? Or was it like, nope, I should have got to 1,000? Or I should have what does success look like for you in different seasons?
I think it changes. I think that when I was playing, it was playing all those games. It was getting the contracts. It was, being considered one of the, best backup point guards, in the game. That's what I saw myself as. But now I think it's, just having an impact, giving back to the community, making sure my kids are doing the right things and are translating them to be great humans. And then success is, investing in good companies, meeting great founders, great people, surrounding myself with great people, networking, but also just like trying to like make myself uncomfortable in comfortable situations. Because I think I'm not the greatest networker. Obviously, me, you met on the golf course, which was easier, but I definitely think I'm not good at networking. So because I'm shy, reserved, I'm not going to walk up to someone and say, "Hey, my name is CJ Watson. I do this, and this." I gotta feel like I have to get introduced to start a conversation. So like I said, just putting myself in uncomfortable situations to where I can branch out and kind of be better and kind of be successful in different areas.
I love that. I love that self-awareness where you're able to go, all right, this is what I'm good at. This is what I'm not good
at.
Yeah. And be like, hey, I need to work on what I'm not good at. I love that. And I love I think when we talk about success too, I think it's, you can see the people that do it for the dollar signs. What does the dollar sign mean? I think it's always funny when you have like a defensive back who's like one more dollar than the highest paid guy.
Yeah.
Just so he says I was the highest paid guy at one point.
Right. Yeah.
And then like 2 weeks later, someone else gets like, just a little bit more, and all those types of things. So, it's like, I was the highest paid, DB in the NFL, or things like that, and seeing like what success is. And then also seeing people of like, are they chasing the right success?
Right.
How did you, I guess, kind of, you had these things of being in the NBA. It sounds like you were very grounded with your parents and your family and everything like that. How did you see the pitfalls of guys who weren't grounded around?
I think, just the support system goes back to the support system.
Yeah.
Them, like maybe their parents let them do whatever they wanted to, stuff like that. My parents are very strict on me, which kind of made me want to go against them too. Yeah. But I knew if I did, I'd get in trouble. So I tried not to. But definitely, I think, just having that support system is like I said, it goes back to, how great do you really want to be? Because those other people will push you to help you be great if they know you want it. I always tell my daughter, I can't want it more than you. So you have to want it, and you have to be there. I'll be there to help you and support you and give you the tools you need to get to where you want to get to, but it has to be all from you, and you want it to be.
What would you tell somebody if they came to you and you're like, hey, CJ, I don't have a great support system. I identify it. How can someone go and find it?
I think just having mentors, just like I said, in the space that I want to be in, venture capital, I didn't really know anyone. So just put myself out there, meeting people, going to different networking events. LinkedIn is a big thing, but just having people that you see as successful in your category or market. Like I said, it can be basketball, trying to reach those players, or whatever sport it is, just finding those mentors and those people, because I'm sure, if they've been successful before, they've had mentors and they know the power of a mentor. I mean, any successful people should want to help the next generation, I feel like, or the next person coming up. If they are, then I wouldn't want to be around them.
Yeah.
They can't tell you, or help you or to be good. I think, like I said, that's a downfall.
Have you ever cold emailed somebody and been like, yo, I want to visit? Because I'd be like, that's the most uncomfortable thing for me.
Yeah, for sure it is.
It's like, I'm cold emailing you. I'd love to talk to you about this.
Yeah, then you gotta know.
Then you're gonna know. And if they ignore you, you're just like, oh, no, do I follow up with them?
I'm not doing. Yeah.
You can get down on yourself so fast.
Yeah, I think as athletes, we're used to hearing no's. At least I am. Like I said, I wasn't drafted and stuff like that, so I'm used to hearing no's. So now I'm 40. I just think like, whatever God has for me is for me. So I'm just gonna put myself out there, and if they say no, then it's just not for me. So maybe I go to the next person. So I think obviously it is devastating to hear that, but like I said, in the end of it, you just gotta go with your heart and just do it.
Yeah, I love that. What would you say? So now you're, this side of the MBA, angel investor. What does success look like for you now? Like, what are or from a micro standpoint, like, what are you working on? What are you getting your hands in? What are the things that you're like, I wake up in the morning and I love to work on this?
So right now I'm trying to turn my 4 books that I have into a cartoon series. So we're trying to put it on YouTube and, like I said, get it out there. So I'm working on that. And also just meeting different founders, different networks, trying to find good companies to invest in. So, I think that's the biggest thing for me. It's always cool also just to see and meet the different founders and see all the ideas they come up with, whether it be, good or bad or invested in or not. I just think it's cool just to see all these ideas that people are creating. And that just gives me more power as an entrepreneur to keep, striving and reaching and setting new goals. Cause if, people are starting these great ideas, why can't I do the same?
So do you look at a lot of pitch decks?
Yeah, a lot.
So I've made a pitch deck for Calm Waves.
Yeah.
What are the things you look for the most? Like when you're going through it, bird's eye view, what's the thing that stands out to you the most?
I think the team and the founders are the biggest thing. Maybe if they founded the company before, if they're resilient enough to continue building, if they maybe don't raise capital, then also the market they're in, if it has a market that can scale fast. And also I'm just a big believer in investing in companies that help create change in the world. So and if I don't know anything about the market, I shouldn't invest in it. So if I don't know anything about medical sales and whatever the medical field is, I'm probably not going to invest in it because I know nothing about medical and devices and all that kind of stuff. So I'm just a big believer in investing on what I know. And a lot of it's been kind of some sports, some health and fitness type stuff. So I'm big on that because like I said, I lived it. So I know the good and cons from it.
That's great. I mean, I think I've heard that a lot too. Some of the investors that I've talked with is like, what was it? Like you make your money from things you know, you lose money from things you don't. Like that like people are like, man, how do you? Yeah, I mean, I simplified it, but it was like I don't know, I forget what it was. It's a real estate guy. He was like, yeah, I only invest in real estate. Like, oh, why don't you try? I mean, you've been successful here. Why don't you try this? Right. He's like, I don't know anything about it. And I think there's a humbleness, going back to humbleness. There's a humbleness to say, I don't know. And I'm just not going to be good at that. Like, well, but it's a fantastic opportunity. I'm like, I don't know. Like, this is just my lane that I'm good at.
Yeah.
I remember there was an architect that we were building his website back in the day. We helped marketing agency building websites. And I came into the thing going like, he must know everything. He's like such a great architect. It was this, and he had no idea how to like what websites were like. He was like, I don't know where that is. I'm not like, he's just so good at his lane.
Right.
That he doesn't know anything else. And that was a big wake up call for me because I felt like I had to know everything. And the like saying, I don't know was like, I think it wasn't smart, but it's just a humbleness of like, I don't know, like, tell me.
Yeah, no, I love it. Like I said, sticking to your lane is probably the best thing probably any advice, like I said, because once you go out of your lane, you're doing things that you're not used to. You're making decisions you're not used to and probably taking chances. And you don't want to take any risks of things you don't know. So it's definitely, that's a great advice.
Yeah. It was like, I can't remember who said it. I think it's my real estate agent, Reed Simpson.
Reed
Simpson.
He's a smart guy. Yeah.
He's a young guy. he's very smart. And then he was like, yeah, I just invest in these things. And
Yeah.
sometimes I'll invest in like little things that are friends or like someone I know,
Right.
but it'll be like, no, I'm very much in this type
Yeah.
of lane. Well, as we kind of just like wrap this up, I mean, thank you again for your time and
No
everything.
problem.
This was so fun of just like getting to know you and hearing your just your story. I mean, I love the things that I take from this is just like working hard. I love what you tell your daughter about, the East Coast time. My dad used to tell me a similar story. And I think it was from like, not the USA basketball team, but it was something Olympic thing. It was some
Yeah.
Olympic thing when they were against like Russia and they
Right.
would like work out and they'd be like, hey, they're working out in Russia. Like
Right.
we need to work out too. So like it's just seeing like, where to work on it. And I think just the tenacity too. I think just like resiliency, being able to say like, you know what, I'm going to get a bunch of no's, but if I believe in this, if I believe I'm good enough, if I believe that this is going to help people enough, that's my side of things is like, oh, I think we can like help people. I think that's a big thing. What are ways that people can interact with you? If they've listened to this podcast and they're like, hey, I'd love to, either consume some content that you have, look at your book. I'm going to put your book in the description. How can people like find what you're doing?
Yeah. You can go to Instagram, quietstorm_32 on Instagram and Twitter or X now. Also, you can go to my Quiet Storm Foundation.
No. Where'd you go?
Sorry, that was my mom calling.
You're
I
good. Hi,
declined
Mom.
it. I declined it.
You're good.
But yeah, you can go to cjpins.com, quietstormfoundation.org. And yeah, I think that's all that the places you can find me.
It's great. Well, I appreciate this time. I'm a big fan of you and what you're doing. I mean, it was super fun just to meet you on the golf course. And I think, by the way, I think that was one of the most fun rounds of golf I've ever played.
Yeah, that was the most fun round I've ever seen someone teach people about golf. I'm like, all these guys have never played. This is going to be funny.
It was, I mean, and I'll tell you this too, if everyone's listening at the end here, I was so nervous going into that event.
Yeah.
Like, because for me, I had to come in and be like, I'm supposed to be this like CEO.
Right.
I like how they framed the whole thing.
Yeah.
And then I have to play golf. Like I was so nervous going into it. And again, I tell people too, that was the best 5 holes of golf I've ever played.
Really?
Like I'm not good.
Yeah, no, you're good, man. Don't
So
disrespect yourself. You're really good.
it was,
You kept us in it. At least we weren't even keeping score, but at least if we were,
yeah,
we were in it because of you.
it was just so fun. But it was so fun to see the 2 guys that, were playing that were like, I've never touched a golf club.
Yeah.
And I was like, as soon as I got into that situation, I'm like, I'm good. This
Right.
is
Yeah.
going to be
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah. Yeah. And
And
that
so
it was fun.
it shifted from this like, of like, I have to perform to like, no, I got this. Like, this is
Right.
going to be fun. And we're just
Yeah.
going to have a great time. We'll hope contact on a couple balls
Yeah.
and let's go. So
No,
it
it
was,
was definitely fun, man. I want to get back out there and do it again. We got to get back on there on the golf course again.
well, you got some good courses in Vegas. We got some good courses down here. So we'll make sure to get that
Yeah.
out there.
Yeah.
So, well, I appreciate your time. Thank you so much. People listening to this, yeah, keep going. And I love Quiet Storm. I mean, you could make a whole clothing line around that, and I would wear that all day because it's
Maybe one day we will. We'll never know.
hey, foundation. Like for be part of the foundation, if you had some Quiet Storm merch, I'd be all over that because that's just such a great phrase.
I got you. Yeah, we are actually have Quiet Storm merch. I have to send you one, sweatshirt or a hoodie. Well, it's too hot for a hoodie right now in Arizona, but t-shirt for sure.
T-shirt for sure. T-shirt for sure. Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, thank you again. Thank you for your time. And sign off for now.
I appreciate it. Thanks.